greater than 1, you get an expansion. If A is between 1 and 0, it is a compression. So the graph shrinks. And key thing with A is you multiply. Whoa. You multiply by A. Whatever A is, that's what you multiply your Y values by, I should say. Multiply by A, your Y values. All right, B. What does B do? It's a horizontal expansion or compression. I'll say HS, horizontal stretch. If B is bigger than 1, i.e. you have this, f of 2x, is that a expansion or compression? Compression. And it's by 1/2, right? Because you flip the B value. So if B is between 0 and 1, i.e. 1 over 3x, you get a expansion by 3. Basically, you multiply x values by 1 over b. That's the take-home message there. All right, we're just going to do a few examples here. It's like what we did before. We did it with general graphs. Now we're going to do it with specific graphs. And you're just going to tell me what we did. We're going to write the equations as well. So, first one here. Y is equal to x squared. We do a horizontal stretch by a factor of 3/4. Is that an A or a B? That's a B value. What is my B value? If I say factor of, that means what you're multiplying by. So the B value has to be 4 over 3. So really, it's f of 4 over 3x. Whatever's in the brackets goes where in the equation? In for x. So this becomes 4 over 3x all squared. You could leave it like that, or you could write it as 16 over 9 x squared. Doesn't really matter to me. All right, B. Y is equal to root x minus 3. We do a horizontal stretch by a factor of 4. So what's my B value? 1/4. And a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So my A value is 2. You don't flip the A's. So we have Y is equal to 2f of 1/4 x. Where's the 1/4 go? In for x, and you multiply the whole thing by 2. So it's the root of 1/4 x with a minus 3 here, and 2 times that whole thing. The minus 3 is not inside the square root. Can anybody see a way to simplify this?
It simplifies to 1 over 2x.
Okay. Close. The square root of 1/4 is 1/2. But you can't take the root x out. It just stays there. So you have that. What could I do? There's only one thing to do.
Multiply everything by 2.
You should multiply the 2 in. What's 2 times 1/2? 1. So I just get root x minus 6. If that was a question on a book or a test, that would be the final answer if it was like a multiple choice thing. Okay, root x minus 6. So you'd have to understand that the 1/2 can be multiplied in, or sorry, the 2 can be multiplied in. All right, C. 3x plus 7, we do a vertical stretch by a factor of a third. So what's the third? It's vertical stretch, so that's an A value. And a reflection in the x-axis. So the x-axis is going this way, right? So we're changing the y's. So that means our A has to be negative. So A is equal to negative 1/3. So it's negative 1/3 f of x. Our function is 3x plus 7, so it's just for completeness. You can dump that in. What's negative 1/3 times 3? Yeah, negative 1x. And then minus 7/3. I mean, they're both the same answer. I'm just doing that because it's algebra. I don't know. All right. Any questions about that? They never flip. No, just B's. All right, next page, please. Tell me what we've done. We're going from f of x to f of 1/2 x. You just got to give me the words here. What have we done? Yeah, so you can just say an HS by 2. That's all I have to say. Because the B value is a half, so you flip it. B, 2 to the power of x becomes 2 to the power of 3x. So this is a B value, right? Because it's right by the x. That's my B is equal to 3. Therefore, we did a horizontal stretch by 1/3. C. What have I done? So vertical stretch by 2 and a flip over x-axis. So you have to say them independently because the vertical stretch is the 2. The negative tells you it's the reflection or the flip. Okay? What about D? What's wrong with the way D is written? Y is not isolated, so we divide off the 3. I get y is equal to 1/3 x cubed, which tells me what? What have we done? Vertical stretch by a third. How do I know it's not a B? Well, because it's on the y, so you're dividing it off. You could manipulate that so that it was a B, but if you wrote it like this, I would just assume it's an A. That's easier. But you're right; it could be a B. The B would be different though, right? But yes. E. What have we done? There's 2 things we've done. Okay, so A is equal to 2, which means we do a vertical stretch by 2. B value is equal to, B value is a third, which means we did a horizontal stretch by 3. And then the final one, well, it's not the final one, final for this question. Root x becomes absolute value of negative 2x. So what have we done? By 1/2. What's the negative tell you? Flip over the y-axis. There you go. 2 things. Okay, last 3 questions for today, and then I'll give you a couple practice, and then class is over. All right. We're going from the thin one to the dark one. Okay? So I'm going from this one to this one. That's the equation. We're going to write the equation. The first thing we got to figure out is what have we done? Have we done a vertical or a horizontal here? Vertical, because we've squished it from here to here. That's at 6. It became 3, I guess. So if I went from 6 to 3, what did I do? By 1/2. So my a value is a half, which means my equation is 1/2 f of x. You know what the function is. It's this. So you just multiply that whole function by a half. Can anybody simplify that for me? Okay, what does that give you? You could dump the 2 into the bottom. I would not recommend that. I would just divide the 6 and the 2 to get. So it's 3 over x squared plus 1. Is there a way you could check to see if that makes sense? There's a really easy point to check here. What is the easiest point to test? 0, right? If you put 0 into the equation, stuff disappears. So if I put 0 into this equation, x equals 0, I'm left with 3 over 1. Everybody agree with that? Yeah. Which is my y-intercept. Does this have a y-intercept of 3? Yeah. So we did right. Okay, B. This is messed up. All right. We're going from this to that. So right away you did what? So you flipped over the y-axis, and what else did you do? And you flipped over the x, and you did an expansion vertically, right? Because if I flip this, I'm going to have the curve here, but it's not. It's on this side. So here we go. Let's figure this out. So my a value, we flipped it, so it's got to be negative. What was the expansion for the a? Where is this top point of the curve on this one? 3. Where is the top point of the curve on this one? 6. So it's going to be -2 is your a. Did I expand it horizontally? No. But it's not 0. What did I do horizontally? I flipped it, right? So I flipped it this way. So I flipped it this way and expanded it, and then I flipped it that way. So B has to be -1. And they don't give us the equation, so we just write -2 f of negative. You could write -1 x. I'm just going to write -x. And the final question for this Friday, September the 24th. Next week only has 3 days of school, people. You're not here Monday. You come Tuesday, Wednesday, no school on Thursday, and then you're here on Friday. So the final day for all, or the final question for all of that. Boom. What'd we do? By? Just pick a point. I went from there to there. How much? Factor of 2, which means my B value is, so B is 1/2, which means 1/2 x. Everything in the brackets goes where? In for all the x's. All right, if you look at the equation, there's an x, there's an x, there's an x. So this becomes bracket 1/2 x plus 4, 1/2 x minus 2, 1/2 x minus 6. Now, that is ugly. So we need to clean it up. I don't want fractions in the brackets. How do I get a fraction out of the bracket? You factor it. So I can factor 1/2 out of each bracket. If I pull the 1/2 out of the first bracket, I'm left with x plus what? No. Sorry. Not 1. No. What? 8. Why is it 8? Yes. When you factor something, look at when you do. I need a pen. If I do this, 2x plus 4, and you pull a 2 out, right? You're essentially dividing by what you took out. That's why you get x plus 2. So if you pull a fraction out, you divide 4 over 1/2. How do you divide fractions, people? You flip and multiply. So it's 4 times 2 over 1, which is 8. So I get x plus 8. And then you do it for the second one, and what do you get? X minus 4. And then you do it for the third one, and what do you get? Whoops. Yeah. X minus 12. And then, because that, like who wants to write that? But you can go 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 is. Oh, my friend. Should have stopped at 8. Sorry. 1/8. When you multiply fractions, top times top times top, bottom times bottom times bottom, you get 1/8, and you're left with x plus 8, x minus 4, x minus 12. Okay, we're done, but can we check our answers? You can check it, because if I gave you this question, x plus 2, x minus 4. What type of graph is that? Parabola. Opens up. What are my x-intercepts? -2 and 4, it opens up, right? Correct? Remember doing that stuff? Yeah. Works the same way for this. What are my x-intercepts here? -8. +4. +12. Is that 12? Yeah, it's 12. 4. -8. There's your x-intercepts. So it matches. That is it for today. You're doing 1, 2, and 3. Oh. People.